Between the months of May and October, storms in Thailand can be completely unpredictable and sporadic. The country's climate during this time is heavily influenced by monsoon winds, which cause abundant rain and storms over much of the country. On May 7, 2020, a driver managed to capture one of these storms on his dashcam. At first, it was truly nothing out of the ordinary, but that didn't last. About 25 seconds into the video, a powerful gust of wind sent the power lines crashing into the road, right as the man was passing by. Had they landed on his car, it's very likely that he would have been electrocuted. Miraculously, the man escaped uninjured. The power lines hit the ground in explosive fashion, sending sparks flying in every direction. The man driving was able to navigate around the live wires on the ground before eventually driving off the road onto a dirt path to safety. As in many other regions of the planet, bad weather combined with poor infrastructure can cause unimaginable consequences that not only affect the quality of life for those who live there, but also endanger it. For the people in this video, they luckily escaped unharmed. The United States is one of the most tornado-prone regions on the planet. In fact, it receives 4 times more tornadoes than the rest of the world, making it one of the most brutal and destructive phenomena that its inhabitants have to face year after year. It was on May 20th, 2013, when Newcastle's Chief of Police, Gary Norman, witnessed a large tornado forming off in the distance. Little did he know, he was filming what would later be regarded as one of the largest tornadoes on record. As he exits the parking lot of an Arby's restaurant, the tornado suddenly comes into view. At this point, it was just forming, and nobody knew just how powerful it would become. At its peak, this tornado grew to be over 1 mile wide. That big a great south up it could be. West got your Clydesdale 35. And we'll walk yesterday. I carry. Okay, pretty good sign now. It's gonna be 35 full things, 3501. Go ahead. I'm able to go to Niagara and get you clear. I'll probably got debris. Appears to be copter plug on his on it. And Highway 37. Lots of debris. Got power flashes. It's 1544. Clear. Nick Ethel reconsider Gordon I-44. It's just a little south of southwest 156th Street. Go on the top of saying this where I'm up there 2400 block, North 16, 24. So then, Nick Ethel, what direction does this thing go? I think I'm no, so that, yeah, that's the zero. I can hear it. Okay. One got to be mine. Crap. Right. I'm gonna let that down. Hurry, but it's right fun. Close to that. Oh, trying to get a lot 44 to get a lot in it. The 2013 Moore tornado only lasted for a total of 37 minutes, but in that time, it was able to cause over $2 billion worth of damage. Prior to its formation, numerous local stations were already covering the severe weather in the area in an attempt to keep locals up to date on what was happening. Numerous warnings were given about the storm, allowing many people to evacuate just in time. Unfortunately, not everybody was so lucky. If a tornado has been forecast for your area, it is extremely important to listen to the warnings and take the necessary shelter for your own safety. The 2013 Moore tornado forever lives as one of the most destructive in all of United States history. Lightning strikes are one of the most jaw-dropping feats of nature. They're nearly impossible to predict and pack with them a serious punch. On June 11, 2011, an intense lightning strike was captured by the dashcam of a motorist in the city of Karami, located in the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region of China. Watch as the lightning strikes the field, just missing the cars on the road. Now, what I find most interesting about this video is that the weather on this day wasn't all that severe. At most, it seemed like it was lightly raining. This is an important reminder that conditions do not need to be severe for lightning to occur. A witness later said that the grass where the lightning struck was instantly burned and blackened. Thankfully, the lightning did not hit any cars on the road. On August 8, 2020, a motorist on a highway in the city of Yibinshi, China, captures the exact moment a monstrous rock slide came crashing down a mountain and onto the highway below. With zero warning, huge boulders crashed into the cars passing below. In total, 3 cars were hit, but thankfully, everybody survived without any serious injury. Given the size of the boulders, that is a very lucky outcome. Okay. If you're found, praise the on its hand. Today, China has 11,863 named mountains, among which is Mount Everest, the highest mountain on the planet, making it a country that is always at risk of this type of situation happening, especially thanks to the progress of urbanization and overpopulation. Fortunately for the people in this video, luck was on their side that day. Spain is a country that is home to many famous mountain ranges. They are so numerous that they occupy almost half of the national territory. Among one of these mountain systems, or more precisely, on a mountain road in Baqueda, a motorist and his passengers experienced the terrifying moment an avalanche came crashing into the road as they passed by, nearly burying their car. In the video, the first sign of what lies ahead comes when the car in front of them is first hit with a small avalanche. The men in the car decide it's best to keep trekking onwards and drive over the mound of snow. Within 10 seconds, a second wall of snow comes crashing into their car. De snelheid kwam dat van langs de street. Nou, hier kun je echt niet harder mee houden. Dat is 60 inderdaad. Kijk dan, kijk dan. Ho, 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 ho. Gotta go right. Yeah, go. Yeah, we're fucking Lavinia. With the guy down. Look fit. Holy shit. Holy fuck. Oh, dat is niet best, joh. Wat je oh, zo. Zo. Fuck fit. Zo normal. There's you. Moments like this are cause for real concern, as the remote nature of the landscape would make any rescue operation rather difficult. Avalanches are among the greatest dangers we can face in nature. Although few people talk about them, avalanches can have disastrous consequences for those they affect. Thankfully, the men in this video were able to escape just in time to continue on their journey out of harm's way. Thanks to China's special topography, combined with its active seismic environment and unusual weather features, landslides are very common throughout many parts of the country. On April 4, 2016, dramatic video surfaced as heavy rain lashed Luzhou and the Guangxi Autonomous Region of Shuang, triggering an incredible landslide that was seconds away from burying a car. Fortunately, the driver managed to stop his vehicle in time and reverse. Storms and earthquakes are a bad combination since they soften the earth and make it much more fragile and unstable. This weakening of the soil, together with the advance of deforestation and the construction of houses in areas not suitable for habitation, have caused landslides to go from being a non-recurring phenomenon to one of the greatest fears of those who live in areas where they are frequent to occur. One thing is for sure. As long as there are humans on the planet, we are likely to continue to see these ferocious landslides all over the world. Let's hope that the next driver will be as lucky as that brave soul from Luzhou. Dashcams are a great tool to capture unexpected moments on the road. While they are most often used to capture car accidents, every once in a while they capture some of nature's most extreme moments. The Sutlej River is among the longest in India, flowing across its shared border with Pakistan. Technically, India controls the waters in the Sutlej River thanks to the Indus Waters Treaty signed by India and Pakistan in 1960. The treaty basically divided 6 rivers that flowed through both countries, 3 to India and 3 to Pakistan. The Indian government broke ground on the Bhakra Dam, built across the Sutlej River in 1948 and wrapped up the project in 1963. Ever since, the dam has provided electricity and tamed monsoon floods in the region. But in September of 2018, 2 Bhakra security guards came face to face with a different natural disaster. We got that. Well, depende da olio e. Oh, the the bag of day and check ya. That's acting out. Get you over the. They either heard or saw something, but whatever it was scared those 2 guards enough to send them running as fast as they could. Seconds later, a destructive landslide rushes across the road, covering their small office in debris. It doesn't seem that bad at first. Maybe these 2 would have been fine. But then, a massive boulder comes flying down and lands right where both of them stood seconds before. The damage was intense afterward, and we imagine it took cleanup crews several days to clear the debris. Landslides are all too common in northern India, with over 12% of the country highly prone to dangerous events. Thankfully, these 2 security guards made it out just in time. Surat Thani, or Surat for short, is the largest of Thailand's southern provinces. The full name translates to City of Good People, and it divides into 19 districts, 131 sub-districts, and over 1,000 villages. One of those villages is home to a tiny auto shop where 3 employees got a good jump scare. Have you ever been so bored at work that you just wished anything would happen? Well, these 3 should be careful what they wish for. When they least expected it, they got a real jolt of entertainment. It seems like any old dull day at the shop. One employee takes a seat while 2 others scroll aimlessly on their phones. Then a massive bolt of lightning strikes nearby, lighting up the dark street and sending all 3 men scrambling in different directions. Our shirtless employee falls to the ground while the kid in the mask covers his ears. The whole event only lasts less than a few seconds. Finally, the masked employee puts his hands on his hips, looks at his coworkers, and probably lets out one of those "we almost died" laughs. According to the National Weather Service, the odds of getting struck by lightning in your lifetime, assuming you live to be 80 years old, are 1 in 15,300. These Thai workers were lucky to be inside. Hopefully, the experience got them through the rest of the night. When you're thinking about vacation destinations, Zimbabwe probably doesn't come to mind. That is, unless you're looking for a safari adventure or to spend the weekend in Kariba, a resort town near Lake Kariba. For one group of Australian friends, their dream vacation turned into a nightmare during a late-night dip in the swimming pool. Brendan, Amelia, and a handful of friends gathered around the hotel pool for drinks. But they weren't the only thirsty ones, as droughts dried up the nearby lake, forcing the crocodiles to find new water sources. At the start of the video, we see Brendan and Amelia minding their own business in the pool. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. Then, a crocodile can be seen slithering across the concrete and slipping into the pool. The croc lunges at Amelia, and Brendan jumps out to safety. Another friend runs in as the croc snaps at Amelia, but she fends it off and tries to get herself to safety. But the croc comes back for one more bite, grabbing her arm and almost pulling her back in. The Nile crocodile has the 3rd strongest bite force in the animal kingdom, behind great white sharks and the saltwater crocodiles native to Australia. By some miracle, Amelia escaped with only a few cuts and bruises. Those pointing a cowardly finger at Brendan should think again. Crocs have a significant advantage in the water. When he saw that thing lunging for him, he did the right thing by jumping out of the pool. Admit it, 99 times out of 100, you're not elbow dropping that crocodile. During the height of the pandemic, students worldwide grew accustomed to at-home learning. Still, it wasn't long before students and parents itched to get back in the classrooms. As things cleared up, schools thankfully opened for in-person learning once again. But natural disasters can be just as dangerous as global pandemics, especially flash floods that leave your entire school underwater. In August of 2021, one school in Dubois County, Indiana, experienced some flooding of epic proportions, just as students were wrapping up their first month of school. The flooding starts outside and quickly envelops the yard. Then it bursts through the doors and carries away food stands in the cafeteria. The doors are no match for the mighty floodwaters as they fill the cafeteria up near the tabletops. Finally, we see a violent rush of water tear through the basement. It almost looks like those scenes in Titanic when, spoiler alert, the Atlantic Ocean rushes through the ship. Students at Northeast Dubois Intermediate School had to learn from home the Tuesday after as cleanup crews drained the school. The superintendent said the basement had about 11 feet of water and would probably stay closed for the next few years. The cafeteria was also a disaster, and the school had to outsource lunches from a nearby high school. The kids got back to class eventually, but they're probably just waiting for the next crazy event to send them home again. Do bears come to mind when you think of Massachusetts? Probably not, but would you believe that 4,500 black bears live in the state and are moving further east every year? Well, don't expect to see one sporting their Red Sox gear at Fenway, but anybody with a large backyard and small pets should keep their eyes open. One resident learned that lesson the hard way when he dozed off in a lounge chair by his pool. Thankfully, his Ring security camera was recording when a curious black bear walked up and tapped his foot. The footage shows the bear wander in from the right and take a big gulp from Matthew's pool. We imagine it didn't like the taste of chlorine. As it turns around, it finds Matthew asleep in the chair. The bear sizes him up before getting closer to investigate. He walks cautiously, sniffs Matt's foot, and then nudges him a bit. Matt wakes up, and the bear takes off running. So what's the first thing Matthew does? He takes out his phone for a picture, of course. Matt's wife and friends didn't believe him until they saw the Ring footage. Sure enough, there's a potentially hungry black bear checking to see if Matt is dead and edible. Instead, Matt was alive, and the sudden movements scared the bear right off. The state website instructs residents to make a lot of noise if they see a bear in the wild. Make sure it knows you're there before backing away slowly. Never approach the bear, especially if it's a mother with her cubs. Now that last part should go without saying, but some people will do anything for a good picture. Elazig is a small province in Turkey with just over 500,000 people. Like much of the country, the area is very much prone to earthquakes, with a 6.1 magnitude hitting in March of 2010 and a 6.7 magnitude hitting in January of 2020. Both devastated the country, but CCTV footage captured some frightening moments from the 2020 event. The earthquake struck around 9 p.m. on January 24th, with its epicenter in Sivrice, a small town in Elazig. Residents fled from buildings on the verge of collapse, and one group watched as a building came crashing down in front of them. The earthquake strikes, sending 4 men sprinting away from the building and into the middle of the street. There's a moment when they want to keep running, but perhaps the open area is the safest place they can be. It doesn't matter anyway. One of them points at a building across the street seconds before it collapses. They hightail it out of there, not wanting to stick around for what might happen next. The earthquake caused some serious damage within 40 kilometers of its epicenter. It impacted 19 towns and over 200 villages, causing 87 multi-story buildings to collapse in 2 cities. Elsewhere, over 1,200 buildings were so badly damaged that demo crews had to tear them down. In all, the quake claimed 41 lives, most of whom were from Elazig and neighboring towns. 2020 really sucked for everyone, didn't it?